tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any concerns about him being right. The challenge for him is coming into a playoff series, but he's been watching it, and all I want him to do is play the same game that everybody else is playing. Right? We make smart plays with the puck, play as hard as you possibly can. You got a chance to shoot it, and that's his game. So just plays the same game everybody else does. We'll be fine.
We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Hey, Paul. Clearly that message has been received by him because it's essentially what he said to us when he was out here. The style of play that you're asking your guys to play, you've said that it kind of, you have to sacrifice a little bit of offense to do it properly. Him coming in and playing that way that you're asking, playing the game that he's seen, is that a tricky balance to find for a player who last time he was playing, maybe the team wasn't playing that style?
No, I think because Nicky was, right? Like when you look at the year that he's had and you go back to the bubble last year, his game's changed drastically. And we talked about that over the course of the year. He's been, it's why he put up really good numbers and was our leading plus minus player. He's been playing that game. Nicky's had a hell of a year. So, of all the guys coming into our lineup, I mean, the third and fourth line guys, sometimes playoff hockey is close to the game they play all year round. But Nikolaj's game this year has been that. He's played this style of hockey for the year, and I think it's a big reason why he's had the success that he had.
We'll go back to Sean Reynolds for a follow-up. Go ahead, Sean.
So, Paul, how do you foresee his ability to potentially change the face of this series offensively in your favor?
Yeah, I don't expect him to. You put a guy who can shoot the puck a little better maybe than the guy that comes out of the lineup can shoot the puck, and you give him the same shots, and maybe he scores one. I mean, these are both one-goal games. Maybe that changes it, but he's not going to come in and change the way this series looks in terms of how the game is played or the dynamic. It's about, a real good shooter gets a chance. He has a better chance of scoring than a guy maybe doesn't have the same kind of shot, and that's about it.
We'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, how do you think this back-to-back situation impacts the series? Do you have to approach things any differently for game one?
No, I mean, I think that you never play the next game on the night you're playing, right? You don't sacrifice something that you want so that you got a better chance to win the next game. You got to focus completely and solely on the game that you're in. I don't know that they run their bench differently because we play tomorrow night. We won't, but we've been kind of, that fourth line's been playing. So we're going to play everybody. That's the way we've been going. It just means that the game tomorrow night might look differently than the game tonight because it'll be the first back-to-back that I've ever seen in the NHL. And they're going to play just as hard tomorrow. They may have, both teams will probably have a little less, jump in their legs. And so it'll be a little bit slower, but I don't think that our mindset of looking past tonight is there. We gotta play the game tonight first.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, you've talked about how the team down 2-0 has kind of an edge in some ways, and you're going to probably see Edmonton's best game. Is this the game that you could really use a full house and the energy that would bring?
Yeah, you know what? We're jealous here now. We turn on the TV and we watch the other playoff series, and they got fans, and it seems to drive the intensity. And but we can only say that it's been fair, right? They got pom-poms in their seats, and we got coverings in ours, and we'll have to make our own enthusiasm.
We'll go next to Sarah Lesky from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, I'm not sure if you're willing to tell us, but will that be the only change to your lineup this evening? Nikolaj coming in?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregory. Good morning, Paul. I was just going through Friday's post game when the talk was about really good team defense, and as part of that answer, you brought Mark Scheifele's name into it. He hadn't been part of the question, so I was just wondering if that's your way of making sure he has a piece of your success, even though he's not lighting it up at 5-on-5 or on the power play yet, that his contributions have been extremely important, and you're making sure it's part of the story.
Yeah, he played a heck of a game. Like, that was just me on the bench going, Scheif's going tonight. He played a really, really strong game. And I don't think that Mark's worried about the points. I mean, I think everybody's understood that Nobody's saying, hey, you had a great game and got a bunch of points, but you lost. Nobody cares about that. So that I wasn't sending a message. That was me honestly answering the question. I thought that he really elevated his game from game 1 to game 2. And a big chunk of that has to be defensively because he's running hard against the McDavid line. So, and then they've doubled those guys up. So Mark needed to, when they put those two guys together, you need everybody to defend against them. And I thought they had some offense, right? They generated some offense and some good looks, but Mark was really strong in that game.
We'll go back to Murat Atesh for a follow-up. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Is part of that strength and that improvement almost a bit of a patience, a waiting for spots and coming back and letting it come to him a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good word for it. I'm trying to find a better word than patience because it kind of gives you the idea that you're sitting back. It's not. It's playing the game that's right in front of you, not what you're hoping for. And these guys are got some phenomenal puck control on that line. So you're not going to touch the puck as much as you want. You're not going to hang. You got to spend a chunk of your time just defending what they do and being patient to do that. Make the most of the chances that you get, but not try to create or force the game that you'd like to be on a line like that. The 1 and 2 scores in the league. So you've got to just play the game that's in front of you. I thought his decisions in that area, that idea, were really good.
Go back to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
What role did familiarity play in how you came together with these lines and what it looks like Adam Lowry and Andrew Kopp being reunited and Dubois going with Ehlers and Stastny?
Well, I don't know how you know that because we didn't have a morning skate that would have told you that. I would just say that you go back to what we've talked about during the year. There's a bunch of things that we think we know. And part of that was game 1 and game 2 that Perreault, Lowry, and Appleton had played really good hockey for us this year. And I really like Matty Perreault's game. So the lines, that you'll see tonight will reflect what we saw this year, what we have a real strong comfort level with. And it'll be 2 of the first 3 playoff games. We've introduced kind of top 6 guys back into our lineup. So there has to be a shuffling there. There has to be some line movement there. You can't just say, hey, we're going to leave Dubois and Ehlers out of our lineup, even though they're 100% healthy. I mean, and you can't wait on it because we're not talking about a 2-month run here. We're talking about trying to win a 7-game series. They got to come in as soon as they're ready to go. Nicky probably would have told you he was ready to go in game 2. I didn't want to put both of them in at the same time. So we'll build as many things that we know don't need a lot of time to feel good about their game, guys that have played together before, and we'll make adjustments as we go.
And final question to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Hey, Paul, going back to Mark Scheifele, he had just come out here and talked about, the challenge of facing those guys and not being, approaching the game from more defensive side of things and the potential for growth that was in there. I just wonder what it makes you think when you hear him having an attitude like that, and want to know if you feel that we are seeing that growth happening right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, when you get there's an awful lot of pressure on Mark Scheifele, and that's true of Kyle. Anybody that you pay that puts up numbers, there's pressure to put up those numbers, and it's real. Right. And handling that pressure is why these guys are as good as they are. But Mark's got to, he feels that he's got to produce numbers, score goals to help the Jets win. And then you need that maturity to develop to understand that's not going to happen every night. It's far less important, believe it or not, in the playoffs. It doesn't matter who scores, whether it's Pullman or Toninato or Stastny. That's the key piece, is that you do what you do. Play the game that's in front of you, and not a game that you'd like to see. I'd like to get more chances, or I'd like to score more. It's just play the game that's in front of you. And he's done that game 2 was really, really strongly played by that line, and especially Mark.
Thanks very much, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back with you post-game. Have a great day.